Chapter 11, Sensation Around the World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. My head is buzzing right now. Comparing the before and after, the repaired genetic data has indeed doubled. This chaos art can not only improve physical fitness, but also spiritual power can greatly increase strength and agility. Even after breaking through to the first level of the spiritual release stage, the lifespan can be doubled. I'm crazy. I've been waiting for the upper limit and side effects of this cultivation method. Waiting and waiting, the upper limit has not been reached, and the side effects have not been weighted. Waiting for an earth-shattering major effect. Holy shit, look at the stock market. All over the galaxy, all pharmaceutical and healthcare stocks are diving like crazy, plummeting across the board. Especially healthcare stocks, it's like a flash sale. On the other hand, other categories of stocks suddenly started to rise sharply. The news that imitating the chaos art may double human lifespan is a major negative news for pharmaceutical and healthcare stocks. It is also a major benefit to other industries. Hey, why did the stocks in the cosmetics industry suddenly start to plummet? That's because you haven't noticed that after breaking through to the first level of the spiritual release stage, Yi Chen's skin and various numerical values have also been greatly improved. In other words, his skin has also been greatly improved. I have discovered this before, but I didn't have time to say it. Today, the stock market and stock investors across the galaxy will probably go crazy. Not only those stock investors, but all mankind will go crazy. If there are no side effects, it means that imitating the chaos art can double the lifespan. I worship a peerless genius who has been deprived of his rights and exiled to the planet for life, can actually double the lifespan of all of us. In the live broadcast room, it was like a pot was exploding. Countless viewers rushed into the live broadcast room after hearing the news. 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion. It has been hundreds of years since mankind as a whole has encountered such explosive news that shocked the world. The last such sensational news was more than 100 years ago, when the governor of the planet A2685 declared independence and became an imperial planet with the support and bewitchment of the ghost tribe. But this news pales in comparison to the possibility of doubling human lifespan. The entire galaxy and all humans are caught in a frenzy, because based on the current technological level of the human race, lifespan is an untouchable taboo in the laws of the universe. For thousands of years, generations of top biologists and researchers have worked hard, but they have still been unable to make breakthroughs in lifespan. No one expected that a planet would be exiled to a planet where a genius would be deprived of all power because his ancestors had committed serious crimes. He actually found another way and achieved a major breakthrough in just 1 month. The biggest lie in history, chaos technique can double your lifespan. Breaking through to the spiritual release stage will definitely bring horrific side effects. The lifespan is doubled, which is very likely to be the bait before the fatal side effects. I advise everyone not to imitate Yi Chen in practicing chaos art before determining the upper limit and side effects of the practice method. Lifespan is one of the flaws given to our human race by the laws of the universe. Just like all races have their own flaws, no one can break the laws of the universe. Soon, major news media published various front-page headlines. All the contents point to the chaos technique created by Yi Chen, and they denigrate the fact that the upper limit of lifespan will be doubled after breaking through to the spiritual release stage. Even so, it cannot stop a large number of people from starting to study and try to practice the chaos art. The stock markets across the galaxy, including pharmaceutical stocks, healthcare stocks, and cosmetic stocks, are still plummeting irreversibly, even if these pharmaceutical giants, healthcare giants, and cosmetics giants recruit tens of thousands of top scholars and experts from all walks of life. They cannot reverse this decline. Doubling the lifespan is too tempting. Even if there are indeed any fatal side effects, a large number of people will not hesitate to try it. Originally, there were very few people who secretly learned and imitated Yi Chen to practice the chaos art. Only some geniuses who are fast in cultivation and have all kinds of hardships in life, like the newly emerged basketball star Jiang He, will take the risk and try it. Now, this ratio has increased by at least 100,000 times, and the proportion is still rising. In the wooden house, Chen, the ultimate otaku, spent more than 20 days to break through to the spiritual release stage, and then spent another 3 days to finally improve the Chaos Jew to a level suitable for spiritual release practice. It took another half a day to practice the improved version of Chaos Art, and finally stabilize the state. Sure enough, I knew those experts and scholars were farting, saying that the upper limit of the spiritual release stage had been reached at the first level, and Yi Chen could no longer improve it. Now, it only took a few days, can't he start practicing again? Didn't you find a very serious problem? Yi Chen seems to have improved the Chaos Art to the extent that it can be suitable for spiritual release period practice. This can be seen from the movement of spiritual power in the meridians. Compared with the previous one, the improved Chaos Jew has the same general direction, but an additional acupuncture point has been added, and the route of running in the meridians has also been slightly adjusted. Similar to flying knife technique, we can obtain the movement routes through the scanner. But the exercises created by Yi Chen not only include exercise diagrams, but also exercises formulas. The two complement each other and are indispensable. In the improved version of Chaos Jew, we can only get the movement diagram, but not the formula. If Yi Chen doesn't publish the improved version of the Chaos Art, it means that after we break through to the spiritual release stage, we will not be able to learn the improved version of Chaos Art, and our realm will no longer be improved. Oh my God, is this really true? I don't know what the upper limit of the cultivation method created by Yi Chen is. But if we can't learn the improved version of Chaos Art, doesn't it mean that our upper limit is only the first level of the spiritual release stage? That the viewers in the live broadcast room began to panic. Flying knife technique cannot be learned. Except for some darts enthusiasts, most people are just itchy and depressed. If you can't learn the improved version of Chaos Art, it will be extremely uncomfortable. Just thinking about it makes me feel unbearably itchy, as if there are hundreds or thousands of ants crawling around. Hey, look at the news. All the major news websites have launched new front pages. My God, this is really sleepiness and pillow. After breaking through to the spiritual release stage from a headache just now, if Yi Chen didn't record the improved version of the Chaos Art formula, none of us would be able to learn it. This Yi group has announced that it will organize scientific researchers and hire those geniuses with high salaries to jointly research and create a method that is better than the improved version of Chaos Jew. The Yi group is the largest pharmaceutical group in the entire galaxy. It has strong scientific research capabilities. If it takes action, we don't have to worry about not having any skills to learn. Yes, Yi Chen is just the founder of this cultivation method, but he is not the leader and pioneer who opened the way. He is only one person. How can he compare with the huge funds, equipment and materials, as well as the collective efforts of many scientific researchers and geniuses? The announcement from Yi Group immediately put people at ease, because according to the announcement of Yi Group, if a better method is developed, Yi Group will publish it for free as soon as possible. With this announcement, not only the stock price of Yi Group, whose stock price was halved, began to stabilize and rise, but also the stock prices of other pharmaceutical groups began to stabilize. Chapter 13: The Human Race's Position and Interests. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the forest, towering trees stand like giants. 100-meter-high ancient trees can be seen everywhere. It is already late autumn, and the withered yellow leaves are scattered on the ground irregularly, like a thick carpet. At noon, the gentle sunlight shines through the lonely branches into the forest. Let the fallen leaves on the ground have a faint golden glow. It also makes the chill of late autumn less harsh. Yi Chen walked carefully in the forest with his thorn fruit, looking for the trace of the green leopard. From Gully's mouth, he had a general understanding of the strength of the green leopard. It is huge in size and terrifying in strength. One claw can easily break a tree with a diameter of more than 1 meter. Its jumping ability is also extremely amazing. It can jump more than 20 meters high and hundreds of meters away. Of course, Yi Chen is not bad either. After breaking through to the first level of the spirit release period, his spiritual power strength has undergone a qualitative change. The power of the flying knife art has increased by at least 10 times compared to the 6th level of the condensation period. This is his greatest advantage and means when facing the giant green leopard. In addition, there are advantages of being large, and there are advantages of being small. pouring spiritual power into the legs can increase Yi Chen's speed, and there are towering ancient trees everywhere in this forest. Once attacked by the green leopard, he can quickly avoid it with his small size and fast speed to ensure safety. Unfortunately, there is not enough time. In fact, Yi Chen wants to create a set of body movement skills before killing the green leopard. With body movement skills, his speed can be increased several times, or even more than 10 times, with the cover of the towering trees. When facing the green leopard, that is the real invincibility. It's over. It looks like he really came to find green leopard. What is he going to do? To eliminate harm for the people and help the Yenshan tribe solve this huge threat. With his personality, he doesn't seem like that kind of person. I don't know what he thinks. Can't he stay in the tribe and practice and study new skills? That the audience in the live broadcast room were complaining. From their point of view, no matter what the reason, they hope that Yi Chen will not take any risks, because Yi Chen's life and death are linked to their interests. It is more in their interest for Yi Chen to practice and create skills with peace of mind. The former can test where the upper limit of this practice method is and whether there are any unbearable sequelae. The latter can explore more ways to use spiritual power before those scientific research institutions have made progress and created better skills. There is no doubt, for Yi Chen, the founder of practice, most of the audience in the live broadcast room are neutral, worshipful and respectful. Once he is in his own interest, Yi Chen is just a guinea pig testing poison in front of him, not the ancestor. Only a very few people like basketball star Jiang He, whose life and destiny have changed dramatically because of stealing the chaos art, will truly regard Yi Chen as the ancestor, or even worship him as a god, and this is also because of Yi Chen's chaos art, which has changed their fate dramatically and brought them unimaginable benefits. Everything is something that no one can imagine and predict, how high Yi Chen can go. His terrifying talent will surely become an opportunity for the human race to rise above all other races, with the attitude of the human race in the early stage, coupled with his way and personality to improve his talent. He is also destined to become another major crisis faced by the human race after all other races. After more than 2 hours of wandering around, Yi Chen finally found the green leopard. Listening to others' descriptions is undoubtedly not as good as seeing it with your own eyes. From Gully's mouth, he only knew that the green leopard was more than 10 meters tall, but when he really saw it, he knew how shocking it was to see a giant creature that was more than 10 meters tall. The green leopard was patrolling the center of the forest at this moment. With a body as tall as a 4-story building and a body that was more than 20 meters long, it looked like a moving green mountain. Even 100 meters away, Yi Chen felt small and powerless. The originally open forest seemed small and crowded in front of this green leopard. With its strong limbs, every step it took could bring up a gust of wind. Its tail, which was 7 or 8 meters long, swung gently like a steel whip. Its amber eyes were as big as basketballs, and the cold light that flashed from time to time was enough to scare ordinary people. Yi Chen first quickly observed the surrounding environment to determine the location of each towering ancient tree and the distance between them. He took a deep breath, took out a stack of thorn fruits, and held one tightly in his right hand. Hey! Given the size of the green leopard, the thorn fruit is only a few centimeters long. Obviously, it can only be killed by hitting its vital points. Yi Chen shouted at the green leopard, trying to attract its attention and make it turn around. The green leopard ignored it directly. As early as when Yi Chen was 200 or 300 meters away, it smelled his breath with its keen sense of smell. Too small, not chewy. Yi Chen made it lose its appetite. On the contrary, the billions of viewers in the live broadcast room were shocked by Yi Chen's shout. The heart that was already hanging because of worrying about Yi Chen's safety was raised to the throat. This guy actually took the initiative to provoke and attract the attention of the green leopard. He is simply looking for death. Okay. We can only hope that those scientific research institutions can develop a better cultivation method than Chaos Sutra as soon as possible. With such a high talent and improving his strength every month, why did he run out to take this risk? Can't he stay in the tribe and grow up in a sleazy way? Seeing that the green leopard ignored his shouting, Yi Chen didn't care. He waved his hand casually. The thorn fruit in his hand suddenly shot out. Boom. The small thorn fruit, after leaving his hand, actually made a deafening sound. The green leopard finally felt something was wrong. Its sixth sense even produced a sense of crisis. It couldn't help but turn its head and look towards the source of the sound. it saw nothing, because the thorn fruit had pierced its body and drilled into its abdomen. It was not until 2 or 3 seconds later that a sharp pain came from its abdomen. The green leopard roared, its basketball-sized eyes, with a cold and bloodthirsty breath, stared at Yi Chen. Yi Chen was calm, the thorn fruits in his hand shot towards the eyes and brows of the green leopard one by one. Boom boom boom, the piercing sound of breaking through the air continued to rise and fall, continuously burst out, puff puff puff. The green leopard dodged left and right, but it was still difficult to completely avoid these endless and lightning-fast thorn fruits. Its eyes, brows, throat, all the vital parts were pierced with thorn fruits. Apart from the painful roar, it could only close its eyes and pounce in the direction of Yi Chen in its memory. Yi Chen suddenly accelerated, avoiding the green leopard's pounce while continuing to use thorn fruits to attack its vital parts. In just 2 or 3 minutes, the green leopard, whose vital parts were continuously attacked, obviously declined in both speed and strength. In another 2 or 3 minutes, the limbs as strong as stone pillars could not even stand steadily. Like a drunk, it was shaky. The winner was decided. This result was already expected by Yi Chen, and his face was calm, but the audience in the live broadcast room opened their mouths wide, their faces full of shock. In just a few minutes, a level 10 beast that required a genetic warrior to fight was defeated. The military needs to spend hundreds of millions of funds and more than 10 years to train a genetic warrior. Moreover, what is the flying speed of the thorn fruit scanned by the scanner? The initial velocity actually reached a terrifying 1,100 meters per second. Chapter 14, Too Lazy to Improve the Flying Knife Technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh my god! After breaking through to the first level of the Lingfang period, will the flying knife art become so powerful? Terrible! The initial velocity of the thorn fruit actually reached 1,100 meters per second. Before the invention of the energy laser device, even the bullet speed of the top-level firearms was not so fast. No wonder he came to find green leopard. It turns out that after breaking through to the first level of the Lingfang period, the spiritual power has undergone a qualitative change, which will bring a huge improvement to the power of the technique. I'm so greedy. I really want to learn the flying knife art. Why didn't he copy down the art formula of the flying knife art? Idiot, the improved version of the chaos art formula is the most important. Without the improved version of the chaos art formula, it means that after we break through to the first level of the Lingfang period, we will not be able to break through to the second and third levels. I don't know how the major scientific research institutions are doing now. When can they develop a better practice than the improved version of Chaos Ju? We have just started the preparations, but once the preparations start, the speed will be fast. After all, it is a project funded by major consortiums and top tycoons. According to my estimation, the personnel, equipment and venues can be prepared in 1 day. As for developing a better practice than the improved version of Chaos Ju, isn't it easy? You know, it only took Yi Chen about 3 days to improve on the basis of Chaos Ju. The major scientific research institutions, huge human, material and financial resources and top scientific research equipment, plus the collective efforts of those geniuses, may be able to come up with a better practice than the improved version of Chaos Ju in a few hours. According to this calculation, within 5 days, there will definitely be a better practice than the improved version of Chaos Ju announced. That's good. Speaking of which, these consortiums and top tycoons will definitely be announced in 5 days. The top tycoons are very generous. Especially in recruiting cultivation geniuses, they are simply robbing people. It was all done by the Yi group. At the beginning, they offered an annual salary of 300,000. In just 1 hour, it was changed to an annual salary of 1 million. Then, other consortiums and top tycoons joined the war to rob people. 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, all desperately raising the price. Maybe in half a day, there may be a recruitment GG with an annual salary of tens of millions. Many ordinary people who originally had an annual salary of hundreds of thousands have jumped into the middle class. You know, the contracts offered by these consortiums have long terms. It's a pity that I'm not a cultivation genius. I missed this opportunity to leap over the dragon gate and rise from the bottom in vain. To be honest, the appearance of Yi Chen is equivalent to creating millions of middle-class people. The audience in the live broadcast room was shocked by the breakthrough to the Lingfang period. While the strength soared, they were also lamenting the changes and influences that Yi Chen's sudden appearance brought to all mankind. Of course, there is also the expectation and longing that those scientific research institutions that have received massive funds and have the assistance of cultivation geniuses can launch better cultivation methods as soon as possible. In the forest, Yi Chen was still slowly consuming the shaky green leopard. It was not until more than 10 minutes later that the green leopard finally fell down with a bang after at least dozens of thorn fruits were inserted into its eyes, eyebrows, throat and other positions. The ground shook and dead leaves flew. Finally solved, Yi Chen couldn't help but exhale. Although this battle was won easily, it also made him see many shortcomings. The flying knife art seems to need to be improved, otherwise, the sonic boom generated during the high-speed process will easily attract the opponent's attention. Moreover, the power is not very good, and it needs to be greatly strengthened. This battle was actually a little more difficult than Yi Chen expected, because he expected that the green leopard could be solved within 2 or 3 minutes, but in the end, it took nearly 20 minutes. The main reason is that the flying knife art has too many shortcomings. The first is the sonic boom problem. Although the thorn fruit is not big, it can still produce a sonic boom when its speed exceeds the speed of sound. This sonic boom can easily let the opponent know your position. It cannot achieve the effect of surprise in the blind spot of the opponent's vision. If you encounter a beast that reacts faster than the green leopard, it will be difficult to hit its vital points every now and then. Another disadvantage is that the power is not very good, facing a behemoth like the green leopard, although the thorn fruit can penetrate it, because it is too small. Even if it penetrates the vital points, it needs continuous attacks, just like the green leopard's basketball-sized eyes. It takes 3 or 4 thorn fruits to hit this eye in succession. To solve these 2 major problems, it is undoubtedly necessary to improve the flying knife art. Forget it, the flying knife art is just a transitional means and will soon be eliminated. There is no need to waste time on improvement. After a little calculation, Yi Chen quickly gave up this idea. Hidden weapon attacks are just a means of attack at this stage when he has no weapons. The lethality is far inferior to that of swords and other weapons. Even for long-range attacks, the future still depends on sword and knife skills, because after breaking through to the spiritual release period, you can release spiritual energy and generate sword and knife energy. As your strength level increases, the sword and knife energy will only reach farther. Even using the energy to control the sword and take the enemy's head thousands of miles away is not a fantasy. This flying knife art will be eliminated sooner or later, so there is no need to waste time and energy to improve it. What's going on? He actually dislikes the flying knife technique. With the flying knife technique, a small stone can kill a fierce beast, but he actually wants to eliminate the flying knife technique and is even too lazy to spend time to improve it. Good guy. When we were shocked by the powerful power of the flying knife technique, Yi Chen was thinking about eliminating this technique. That the audience in the live broadcast room was speechless by Yi Chen's words. No one expected that such a powerful technique, in Yi Chen's eyes, was just facing elimination and was unwilling to spend time to upgrade the version of the technique. You know, the power of this flying knife technique is now greater than the power of firearms before the invention of the energy laser device. With this flying knife technique, it took only 2 months for Yi Chen to kill a level 10 fierce beast that only genetic warriors could contend with. They really couldn't figure out what kind of technique could be stronger than this flying knife technique. In the forest, after confirming that the green leopard was completely dead, Yi Chen returned to the valley where the Yanshan tribe was located. Although his spiritual power had undergone a qualitative change after breaking through to the first level of the Lingfang period, and infusing it into his whole body could increase his strength to a terrifying degree. But it was still wishful thinking to drag the green leopard weighing hundreds of tons back to the Yanshan tribe in one go. So, he had to go back and find someone to carry it. Chapter 15, The Peerless Beauty Throws Herself into His Arms. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gully. After walking a few hundred meters, Yi Chen was surprised to find that Gully and Rog were carefully moving through the forest. Yi Chen, why are you here? Didn't I tell you that the forest south of the valley is a restricted area for our Yenshan tribe? Soon, Gully and Rog also found Yi Chen, and they couldn't believe their eyes. Aren't you here too? Yi Chen asked casually. We received news that someone heard the terrifying green leopard roaring, and the sound was extremely terrifying. Gully explained, the chief and the high priest are worried that something unusual has happened in the forest. The green leopard may suddenly leave the forest and bring a devastating blow to our Yenshan tribe, so they asked the two of us to come and see the situation. Don't worry anymore, the green leopard is dead. Yi Chen said. Gully and Rog were not relieved when they heard this, but became terrified. It's over. There must be a stronger beast coming to compete for the right to rule the forest and kill the green leopard. What should we do? The green leopard has no appetite for us humans, so our Yenshan tribe can survive in the valley. If it were any other ruler, once they broke into the valley, our Yenshan tribe would suffer a catastrophe. Go back quickly, we have to inform the tribe leader to move out of the valley as soon as possible before the cold winter comes. Gully and Rog became more and more panicked, and they were about to turn around and rush back to the Yenshan tribe. Yi Chen added with some laughter and tears, I killed the green leopard. You killed the green leopard? Gully and Rog looked at Yi Chen stupidly, a little confused about what he meant. Yes, Yi Chen nodded. How is it possible? We humans, even if we use all our strength, can't kill the green leopard. It is an invincible existence for us humans. Rog shook his head again and again. Gully was also full of disbelief. In their eyes, the green leopard is invincible. It's not far away. You'll understand when you go over and take a look. Yi Chen was too lazy to explain. He pointed to the direction where the green leopard was lying dead and asked the two to go and see for themselves. The two looked at each other. After hesitating for more than 10 seconds, Gully gritted her teeth, half believing and half doubting, and walked cautiously in the direction pointed by Yi Chen. Rog could only follow behind. They walked forward for hundreds of meters. The green leopard, lying on the ground, lifeless, soon appeared in their sight, the huge body and perfect muscle lines, even lying on the ground, shocked people's hearts, but what shocked Gully and Rog even more, the eyes, eyebrows, and throat of this green leopard were densely packed with thorns. Did he really kill the green leopard? Gully and Rog had no idea how to describe their feelings. This green leopard had no signs of bites on its body, and the fatal injuries all came from these thorns. It is absolutely impossible that he died in a battle with those powerful beasts. No matter how hard it was for them to believe, they had to confirm that the green leopard was indeed killed by Yi Chen. Is there anyone in the human race who can kill such a behemoth that is more than 10 meters tall with one move? Do you believe it now? Yi Chen's voice sounded behind the two of them. The two of them turned around and looked at Yi Chen again, as if they were looking at a god. The two of them were already the strongest warriors admired and worshipped by the tribesmen in the Yenshan tribe, but in the eyes of these two warriors, Yi Chen had simply transcended the scope of humans and was no different from the gods in the mouth of the high priest. If it were not a godlike existence, how could he kill such a powerful beast? Since you believe it, go back and find the tribesmen to bring the green leopard back. Yi Chen ordered. The two of them nodded subconsciously. Then, an indescribable excitement surged in their hearts. They finally realized what it meant for Yi Chen to kill this green leopard. This means that the forest in the south of the valley, which has the most wild animals and low-level beasts, will be open to the Yenshan tribe. From now on, the Yenshan tribe will no longer have to worry about food shortages, and many tribesmen will freeze to death or starve to death in the cold winter. The Yenshan tribe will no longer have to worry that the green leopard will suddenly develop an appetite for human flesh and blood one day, suddenly appear in the valley, and wipe out the entire Yenshan tribe. This also means that there is no threat within 100 miles of the Yenshan tribe, because the Yenshan tribe has Yi Chen, who is as powerful as a god. After walking a few steps, Gully suddenly turned around. A dazzling light burst out from her big copper bell eyes. A blush appeared on her resolute, bronze-black face. She gritted her teeth and looked at Yi Chen. I like you. If you want a woman, you can find me at any time. On the side, Rog's eyes froze. The goddess actually took the initiative to throw herself into the arms of someone else. Or throw yourself into the arms of an ugly man whose skin is not rough enough. whose face is not rugged enough, and whose body is not strong enough, but look at Yi Chen again, he was silent again. Only this person who can kill the green leopard and whose strength is comparable to that of a god is worthy of his goddess. Yi Chen was stunned. Generally, after a war, people will be more emotional. If you want, I can do it now. Guli added shyly. 666, the peerless beauty who was exiled to the planet, is so direct. Sure enough, a man can be ugly or straight, but as long as he has the ability, beautiful women will still come to his door. Even on an exiled planet with different aesthetics, this is an unbreakable truth. This Guli is very good. Not only is she a stunning beauty from the exiled planet, but she also has good vision, a decisive personality, and knows how to take the initiative. It's over, my boyfriend is going to be taken away by a woman so ugly that it makes people shudder. In the exile planet, Guli is a peerless beauty. Therefore, it is estimated that soon, the program team will switch to GG to replace the images and sounds that are not suitable for children. It's strange. If you look at Yi Chen's scan data, your heartbeat doesn't fluctuate at all. He is worthy of being a man who can create a way of cultivation. His determination is so strong that it shocks the past and the present. The peerless beauty actively throws herself into his arms and can actually stay calm in the ancient well. I am afraid that only the eminent monks in ancient times can do it. The viewers in the live broadcast room were all filled with emotions. Men are not afraid of being ugly or boring, but they are afraid of being incompetent. As long as you have the ability, no matter where you are or what kind of living environment you live in, you can still attract beautiful women to throw themselves into your arms. In the forest, Yi Chen looked confused. At that moment, Guli was even more terrifying than the green leopard in his eyes. He almost turned around and ran away. There is no way, even though he has the memory of his predecessor, but there is no change in aesthetics, thoughts, or personality. She is fair-skinned, beautiful, and has long legs. She is the beauty in his eyes. Guli, with such a peerless beauty, he would rather be alone for the rest of his life than die unyielding. Chapter 16, The Beginning of the World Conquest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't want to. Yi Chen's answer was straightforward. A hint of sadness flashed across Guli's big copper bell eyes, full of expectation and shyness. Rog looked at Yi Chen in surprise. He obviously didn't expect that Yi Chen would reject Guli. Soon, the surprise turned into enthusiastic adoration. He is indeed a godlike man. You can actually refuse such a stunning beauty like Guli. It's amazing. He is truly a genius who has created a way of cultivation. He can even refuse the love of a beautiful woman without hesitation. The thinking of a genius cannot be understood by ordinary people. It is normal for a genius like Yi Chen who can influence all mankind to be different from ordinary people. Great, my male god has kept his virginity. That the viewers in the live broadcast room were also filled with astonishment, but relief soon followed. The more genius you are, the more difficult it is to understand. It is an ordinary person who cannot resist the temptation of a peerless beauty. Yi Chen is obviously not an ordinary person, he is a genius. He is still the kind of genius that is extremely rare in human history. I'll go to the tribe to find someone. Guli resisted the disappointment in her heart, turned around and ran towards the valley. I'll go too. Roger followed closely behind. Yi Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he has no experience in this area regardless of his past life. If Guli bothers him, he really doesn't know how to deal with it. You can't kill Guli, right? Not wanting to waste time, he followed the two of them all the way back to the valley. By the time he arrived at the Yenshan tribe, Guli and Rog had already summoned the tribe leader, high priest, and tribe members. However, the clan leader, the high priest, and the clan members did not quite believe what they said. Yi Chen, a new warrior who joined the tribe and did not go out for more than 20 days, killed the green leopard that dominated the forest in the south as soon as he went out. No matter how you listen to it, it sounds unreliable. How could a single person kill the green panther? All the members of the Yenshan tribe could not kill the green leopard. Seeing Yi Chen's arrival, everyone's eyes were focused on him, wanting to hear his explanation. Yi Chen didn't explain anything. He went straight back to his cabin. Concentrate on your practice. Outside, a group of people from the Yenshan tribe were a little angry. Guli and Rog looked at each other, but he soon felt relieved. With Yi Chen's strength comparable to that of a god, it is normal for him to be more proud and aloof. Without bothering to explain, they turned around and continued trying to convince the patriarch and high priest of their words. In the end, the clan leader Taisher decided to personally take several clan members, Guli and Rog, to see the situation. It wasn't until more than half an hour later that Taisher came back with a shocked face. It was officially announced that the green leopard had indeed been killed by Yi Chen. The entire tribe, more than 1,000 people, instantly fell into excitement and carnival. All men, women and children, old and young, took their weapons and tools and headed towards the forest to the south that was once a restricted area for the human race. Batch after batch of green leopard meat pieces were continuously transported back to the valley. It didn't end until the evening. Bang bang. There was a gentle knocking on the wooden door. Yi Chen finished his practice and opened the door to take a look. It's Guli. You killed the green leopard, and you are the greatest warrior in the history of our Yichen tribe. The clan leader asked me to come over and want to invite you out to attend the celebration. Guli explained. Okay, Yi Chen nodded. It's time to get the position of leader of the Yichen tribe. Only by obtaining the position of leader of the Yichen tribe can he promote and popularize chaos art as soon as possible. Only when the strength of the Yichen tribe is greatly improved can they expand territory for him and occupy a large amount of territory. The more territories he has, the higher the bonus of his strongest talent system. Great, the clan leader is still worried that you don't want to participate. Guli was overjoyed. In the eyes of the people of the Yichen tribe, Yi Chen was cold, arrogant, withdrawn, and had an attitude of not letting strangers in. Only she, who had been in contact with Yi Chen for the first time, felt that Yi Chen was actually quite easy to talk to. Although his strength is beyond human knowledge, he is not too arrogant and can even be called approachable. It's just that I don't want to go out very much, and I don't want to waste time in contact with people. The center of the valley, the bonfire has been lit. More than 1,000 people, old and young, gathered around a huge bonfire, roasting fragrant animal meat. Seeing Yi Chen appear, deafening cheers suddenly broke out. There is no doubt about it, Yi Chen is now the greatest hero in the Yichen tribe. His prestige even far surpassed that of the clan leader Taisher. What about being cold and arrogant, not participating in hunting, having a cold attitude? These criticized shortcomings are not worth mentioning. Respect the strong. It's that simple. Yi Chen walked all the way to the center of the crowd. He stood by the bonfire and his eyes swept over the faces of the Xuanhuan tribe members. He immediately pressed his palms. In an instant, the deafening cheers stopped abruptly. The clan leader, Taisher, was slightly envious. With his terrifying strength, Yi Chen's prestige has reached a level that is beyond his reach. I heard from Guli that the chieftain seems to have set a rule that whoever can hunt the most prey alone within 3 months can become the new chieftain. Yi Chen looked at Taisher. Taisher nodded subconsciously, not quite understanding why Yi Chen suddenly asked this question. Then, from now on, I will become the chieftain of Yichen tribe 2 days in advance. Who objects? Yi Chen poured his spiritual power into his throat, his voice like a bell, his eyes like a torch. The old and young people of Yichen tribe were all confused. What's going on? This great hero wants to be the chieftain of Yichen tribe. Thinking about it again, it suddenly dawned on him. Before, because Yi Chen was an outsider and had just joined Yichen tribe not long ago, no one subconsciously thought about this question. When Yi Chen brought it up, everyone woke up from their dreams. With Yi Chen's strength, if he doesn't become the chieftain of Yichen tribe, who is qualified to be the chieftain of Yichen tribe? Guli? Rog? Can they kill the green leopard? No one objected. Even more intense cheers sounded like thunder. Yi Chen is willing to be the chief of Yichen tribe. In the eyes of the tribesmen, this means that Yi Chen is willing to stay in Yichen tribe for a long time. The biggest dream of the human race in this world is to be able to eat enough. With Yi Chen, a powerful chief who can even kill green leopards, do the people of Yichen tribe still have to worry about not having enough food? Even Rog, who always thought that he was the only choice for the next chief of Yichen tribe, was just disappointed. He originally thought that Yi Chen was a powerful helper sent by the gods to assist him. After he became the chief, Yi Chen would become his right-hand man, follow his footsteps, and develop Yichen tribe. But obviously, he thought too much. At most, he could only try to become Yi Chen's right-hand man. As for opposition, He didn't even dare to think about it. The strong or respected Yi Chen's strength made him have no idea of opposition or competition. Very good, very good. Seeing that no one objected, a smile appeared on Yi Chen's face. From this moment on, he finally embarked on the road to conquer the world, because he had the foundation to conquer the world. Billions of viewers in the live broadcast room finally understood the reason why Yi Chen suddenly left the tribe and went to hunt the green leopard after breaking through the first level of the spiritual release period. Chapter 17, Ambition and Vision. No one could have guessed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sure enough, I said, with Yi Chen's character, how could he be so kind as to suddenly have an idea and run to the forest south of the tribe to help the Yichen tribe solve the huge threat of the green leopard? It turns out that he just wanted to surpass and kill Gully and Rog's prey in one fell swoop at the last moment with the size of the green leopard, and compete for the position of the chief of the Yichen tribe. As expected of the descendants of Yichen, he has just joined the Yichen tribe and has set his sights on the position of the chief. It's not that he has just joined the Yichen tribe and has set his sights on the position of the chief. I'm sure that Yi Chen has been planning to become the chief of the Yichen tribe since the beginning, after seeing Gully. At that time, he didn't even know the Yichen tribe, he only knew that Gully must belong to a tribe. That's right, those who say that Yi Chen deliberately delayed the rescue until the critical moment and gave the unicorn pig to Gully in order to please the beauty are simply nonsense. Everything is to be able to join Yichen tribe, became the patriarch of Yichen tribe. It's a pity that he was born at the wrong time. With Yi Chen's character, brain, and terrifying talent, if he was not in the exile planet, he would probably be the second 9-star General Yichen. You're kidding. With his talent, his achievements will only be higher than Yichen. I heard that there are still many remnants who followed Yichen in the past. These remnants who followed Yichen will not sneak into the exile planet and get Yi Chen out, right? That's impossible, because only large warships can pass through the cosmic storms and meteorites around the exile planet. The remnants of Yichen can't get large warships. There are many famous bigwigs among the heavy criminals exiled from the exile planet. Behind these bigwigs, there are also a large number of followers who have escaped the net, but for thousands of years, no one has successfully escaped. Why? Don't think that the cosmic storm is a joke, that the audience in the live broadcast room all suddenly realized. In connection with everything that happened before, everyone finally understood why Yi Chen suddenly ran to the south of the valley and took the risk to hunt the level 10 green leopard. In the valley, Yi Chen, who officially became the chief of the Yichen tribe, did not attend the celebration meeting later. He announced that everyone would gather in the center of the valley early tomorrow morning and then return to his wooden house. He first opened the strongest talent system and took a look. Strongest talent system. Host Yi Chen, area of influence 38 square kilometers, talent bonus 0.0000038 times. As he expected, after becoming the chief of the Yichen tribe, his sphere of influence suddenly expanded from a small wooden house covering only a dozen square meters to the entire valley. The sphere of influence increased by 2 million times. And the talent bonus also increased by 2 million times. Although it was still not much, it made Yi Chen sure how the talent bonus was calculated. For every million square kilometers of his sphere of influence, the talent bonus would double. That is to say, if his power range reaches 1 million square kilometers, he will get an additional double talent bonus in addition to his original talent. If his power range reaches 10 million square kilometers, he will get an additional 10 times talent bonus. His original talent is already the highest among the human race. If it doubles again, 10 times. I can't even imagine it. However, at present, he has just become the patriarch of the Yichen tribe, and the entire Yichen tribe, including the elderly, the weak, women and children, has only more than 1,000 people, and the average strength is not as good as that of ordinary beasts. It's just the starting stage. Turning off the strongest talent system, Yi Chen adjusted his mentality. Soon he entered a state of meditation. The next morning, after practicing all night, Yi Chen was refreshed and in a very good mood. When he came to the center of the valley, all the tribesmen of the tribe had arrived. More than 1,000 men, women, old and young, looked at Yi Chen with admiration and expectation. They whispered about the new patriarch, calling all the tribesmen together. whether there were any arrangements and instructions, it was beyond everyone's expectation. Yi Chen asked Gully for her short knife and strode to the stone wall on one side of the valley. He began to carve on the smooth rock wall. With the tip of the short knife, the tribesmen were confused. On the contrary, the audience in the live broadcast room were excited. It's the mental formula and exercise diagram of the Chaos Sutra. Does he want to teach the Chaos Sutra and the Flying Knife Sutra to all the tribesmen? The thinking of geniuses is indeed different from that of ordinary people. Yi Chen, an unprecedented genius, is even more difficult to understand. Yes. With his personality, it is absolutely impossible for him to pass on the Chaos Sutra and the Flying Knife Sutra. After all, if other tribesmen learn to practice, their strength will increase greatly. His prestige and status may be higher in a short period of time, but in the long run, it will definitely decline sharply. Once a genius with higher talent and faster practice speed appears, he will even replace him. Don't mention the barbaric era of exile planets. Even in the ancient times of our human race, there is a saying that heroes break the law with force. It is not a good thing for the tribesmen to be too strong. Besides this, the policy of keeping the people ignorant is the best means of ruling. If these tribesmen want to learn the Chaos Sutra, they must first learn to read and write. The formula of the Chaos art is bitter and difficult to understand, but it seems to contain great principles. After the tribesmen learn it, their minds will be enlightened, and it will be even harder to rule. I don't know what he thinks. No matter what Yi Chen thinks, it is definitely a good thing for us. Because in this way, we can directly learn the improved version of Chaos art. Are you overthinking it? Did Yi Chen just write down the movement routes and formulas of the first generation of Chaos Ju without reading it? Although I can't understand why he popularized Chaos Ju among the Yenshan tribe, from this point of view, it can actually be seen that Yi Chen is still the same Yi Chen. He held back and did not write the improved version of Chaos Ju. However, it actually doesn't matter whether Yi Chen has written down the improved version of Chaos Ju. Because not long ago, the Yao Group issued an announcement. In just one day, the preparations for the Billion Medicine Cultivation Technique Research Institute have been completed, and today we can start researching techniques that are more effective than the improved version of the Chaos art. It's not guaranteed. In an hour or two, a better technique will be announced for free. It's amazing. I thought it would take at least a few days to prepare. As long as the Yao Group is willing to burn money, its efficiency will be explosive. That the audience in the live broadcast room was discussing it hotly, no one can figure out why Yi Chen had the sudden idea to teach the Chaos art and Flying Knife art to the people of the Yenshan tribe. Doing so is completely against Yi Chen's interests, because with his strength, he can single-handedly ensure that the people of the Yenshan tribe have enough food and clothing, and are not threatened by some ferocious beasts around them. If we find other tribes in the future, we can easily annex them. You can comfortably be a clan leader who controls the destiny of all clan members. Even if his lifespan is exhausted in the future, he can still pass on his cultivation methods to future generations so that they can continue his glory. Given time, without the threat of ferocious beasts, the Yenshan tribe might even develop into a country, and Yi Chen is the royal ancestor of this country. There is no need to promote chaos technique, add competitors to yourself, and add uncertainties to your rule. The root of everything is that no one knows how big Yi Chen's ambition is. No one knew that the Yenshan tribe could not tolerate Yi Chen's ambition. Yenshan cannot tolerate his ambition. What he wants is to rule the entire planet, even the stars and the sea. Chapter 18. My tribe doesn't need a second voice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. High Priest, you should know all the words on it, right? After carving the techniques of Chaos art and Flying Knife art on the wall, Yi Chen turned his head to look at the High Priest. The white-haired High Priest nodded and looked at Yi Chen in a daze. Does the High Priest know the Qingqiao tribe? Yi Chen asked. The High Priest shook his head. Yi Chen felt strange. He couldn't understand why the Qingqiao tribe and the Yenshan tribe had no intersection, so why did they share the same language and writing? However, he didn't think deeply about it. What he wanted to do most at the moment was to popularize the cultivation techniques in the Yenshan tribe and make the overall strength of the Yenshan tribe soar. this was his interest, he turned his eyes to all the tribesmen. The pictures and words on it are a set of cultivation techniques and a set of attack type techniques. As long as everyone learns it, they will have magical powers like me, and the ability to kill ferocious beasts by just throwing thorn fruits. Wow, as soon as these words came out, the people of Yichen tribe were in an uproar. Possessed the same power and ability as the chief? How is this possible? Aren't the power and ability of the chief only possessed by gods? If we really learn it, doesn't it mean that we can be as powerful as the chief and kill even giants like green leopards? After a brief shock, everyone fell into ecstasy, only the high priest changed his face. Chief, you can't, he hurriedly said, this is an ability that only gods have. The chief can obtain it because he has been recognized by the gods. Once the chief passes on the ability given to you by the gods to the tribe members, not only will the chief be punished by the gods, but the tribe members will also be punished. Hiss, the tribe members who were originally cheering excitedly softened like a deflated ball when they heard this. Yi Chen looked at the serious high priest with some surprise. He didn't expect that when competing for the position of chief, no one dared to stand up and oppose. When promoting and popularizing Chaos Jew, the high priest would suddenly stand up to oppose. It doesn't matter, these skills are all created by me, and have nothing to do with the gods. Yi Chen explained. No. It is the gods who gave the patriarch this creative ability, so the patriarch can create these so-called skills. The high priest said without hesitation, the ability bestowed by the gods on the patriarch must not be taught or given to the tribesmen privately. Otherwise, it will surely bring punishment from the gods. The tribesmen immediately turned their heads away, they dared not even look at the words and patterns on the wall. They were afraid that if they looked at it a few more times, they would be punished by the gods. Even the old patriarch Taisher, Guli and Rog, the two warriors of the tribe, were the same. Yi Chen frowned, he opened his mouth and wanted to argue with the high priest. But when the words came to his lips, he suddenly swallowed them back. He suddenly woke up, he understood why the high priest objected, and the reaction was so intense. In the final analysis, it was still about interests. Everyone is an individual with different thoughts, everyone has his own standpoint. If the standpoint is different, the interests will be different. He promoted and popularized the chaos art so that he could use the people of Yichen tribe as the cornerstone for conquering the world and expanding his sphere of influence. The people of Yichen tribe cheered excitedly because after they learned the chaos art, they would be able to increase their strength and easily hunt fierce beasts, and no longer have to worry about food sources. He and the people of Yichen tribe had the same standpoint, the only exception was the high priest. The high priest was a messenger for a tribe to communicate with the gods. Many times, he could represent the illusory gods. In the tribe, he had supreme status and power, even the patriarch did not dare to offend him easily, but once all the people of the tribe had the strength comparable to that of the gods, they would naturally not fear the gods. Not to mention, it is to respect a high priest who can communicate with the gods. As a result, the high priest's status in the tribe has undoubtedly plummeted, and he has gradually lost his status and power. In this case, it is reasonable for the high priest to bring up the gods and desperately oppose it. High priest, come with me, I have something to discuss with you. Yi Chen greeted the high priest and walked towards the valley entrance. The high priest hesitated for a moment and followed. As expected of Yi Chen, he obviously saw the deep-seated reason why the high priest was determined to oppose. Isn't the high priest worried about the punishment of the gods? Could there be other reasons? I don't talk to fools, those who understand come. Yi Chen asked the high priest to go out alone, probably to negotiate. This little obstacle will definitely not be a problem for Yi Chen. It's nothing more than promising the high priest's future status, and the high priest will naturally compromise. What are you talking about? Why can't I understand? Some of the audience in the live broadcast room understood this scene, while others were confused, until a kind-hearted person with a good mind explained the inside story. It suddenly dawned on them. Yi Chen stopped when he was almost at the direction of the valley entrance, turned around and waited quietly for the high priest to come. The chief asked me to come here, is there something to discuss? The high priest looked at Yi Chen confidently. Like everyone else, he also believed that Yi Chen was going to negotiate with him, but he and everyone else guessed wrong. Yi Chen did not plan to negotiate. he looked at the high priest calmly and said calmly, "I give you two choices, one is to change your words, the other is death." That the high priest was stunned, he looked at Yi Chen in disbelief, and some could not believe his ears. No matter what tribe, even the most brutal and violent chief dare not threaten the high priest who can communicate with the gods. That he looked at Yi Chen angrily, as if he had suffered a great humiliation. "My tribe does not need gods. If there are gods, it can only be me." That a cold light flashed in Yi Chen's eyes. If it was something else, he would not mind giving in to each other. After all, the Yichen tribe has more than 1,000 people and cannot withstand any internal friction, but this is not possible. He resolutely did not allow the Yichen tribe to have a voice that was equal to him or even superior to him. He could have a high priest, but he could only be placed on the altar to enhance his prestige. Otherwise, he would not mind using strong means to suppress all dissenting voices, so that the Yichen tribe would no longer have the position of high priest from now on. You are blaspheming the gods." That the high priest was so angry that he trembled all over. "I don't have so much time to waste on you. If you don't make a choice, I will regard it as you have chosen death." That Yi Chen scolded coldly. A tangled look flashed in the eyes of the high priest. He never thought that this new patriarch would be so fearless of the gods and so decisive in killing. 3, 2. Yi Chen began to count down. In his palm, there was an extra thorn fruit. The chieftain is the incarnation of the gods, who came to the world only to save the people of Yichen tribe. When Yi Chen's countdown was about to end, the high priest finally made a choice. He prostrated himself on the ground, kissing the soil under Yi Chen's feet with tears in his eyes. "Very pious. Very good, remember my words. If you still want to be the high priest, then let the people of the tribe slowly understand that there is only one God in my tribe." That Yi Chen reminded. "Follow the oracle." That the high priest became more and more familiar with it. In front of the screen, all the audience were stunned. Chapter 19, a lecture of great significance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. My God, this high priest is so thick-skinned and has such a strong ability to adapt to the situation that it makes my scalp numb. Nonsense. The most important thing for the high priests of the major tribes to choose their successors is to have a good brain. Otherwise, how can the high priests of the major tribes use a god that is created out of nothing to make the tribe believe in it? Some tribes even use children and women to sacrifice to the gods, and no one dares to object. The high priests may not all be the smartest people in the major tribes, but their brains and reactions are definitely among the top 3 in the major tribes. The smarter people are, the more afraid of death they are. When this high priest saw that the situation was not right, he of course shamelessly surrendered to save his life. After all, Yi Chen also gave him a way to retain the power of the high priest. The audience in the live broadcast room were all amazed. The most amazing one is Yi Chen. This decisiveness, this ruthlessness, this domineering, he was born at the wrong time. A mere exile planet completely buried his heroic temperament. What I admire most is actually his courage and domineering. If it were us, we would definitely not believe in the existence of gods. But don't forget that Yi Chen was born and raised in a tribe. In this uncivilized tribe, the tribesmen firmly believe in the existence of gods and rarely question it. But Yi Chen not only questions the existence of gods, he even wants to replace them, and implicitly reminds the high priest that he can only be deified as a god. It's a pity that in this barbaric era, even in ancient times, Yi Chen might be able to rely on his talent, wisdom and character to establish an empire that combines divine power and political power. Everyone feels sorry for Yi Chen. This kind of existence that combines the characteristics of a hero and has amazing talent appeared in the barbaric era is purely Yi Chen's sorrow, because even if Yi Chen could live to the maximum lifespan of 240 years, at most he could only develop the Yichen tribe into a large tribe with a population of tens of thousands, exiled to the planet. Return to the center of the valley with the high priest. No more waves. As the high priest announced, Yi Chen showed him his divinity, and it was confirmed that Yi Chen was the incarnation of the god. All the skills were given to the tribesmen by the gods. The whole Yichen tribe burst into cheers that shook the whole valley. It took only more than 10 minutes. The high priest began to teach on the spot, teaching the tribesmen to learn and recite the words on the wall. These formulas contain Yi Chen's understanding and comprehension of the laws of nature, the characteristics of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and the operation, not to mention the tribesmen of the Yenshan tribe. Even the high priest only had a superficial understanding. Yi Chen could only wait for the tribesmen to memorize the formulas and the exercise diagrams before explaining them uniformly. He did not waste time and stayed in the center of the valley to watch the high priest's lecture. He also did not return to the cabin to practice. Instead, he left the valley and went to the forest in the south. He jumped a few times and jumped onto a towering tree, then he kept climbing up, until he reached the top of the tree. On a branch as thick as a bucket, he leaned against the trunk and sat cross-legged. Above him was the blue sky and white clouds. Looking around, the scenery was picturesque, and the forest stretching for hundreds of kilometers was in full view. He closed his eyes slightly, quietly feeling the biting autumn wind, trying to feel the movement and characteristics of the wind. After breaking through to the first level of the Lingfang period, his perception ability was obviously greatly improved. His perception of the wind was also clearer and deeper. What's going on? Why did he come to the forest to practice? Yes. When practicing, shouldn't you concentrate and calm down? Sitting so high, with the wind whistling in your ears, you have to be distracted to pay attention not to fall down. How can you practice with peace of mind? Yi Chen's unusual behavior confused the audience in the live broadcast room, but soon, a sharp-eyed audience discovered the reason. He didn't practice. The scanner showed that the spiritual power in his sea of qi didn't flow in the meridians at all. If he's not practicing, then he must be comprehending something. He should be planning to create some new skills. I'm looking forward to it. I wonder what new skills he wants to create. I guess he has some inspiration. Speaking of which, the Yi Yaogong FA Research Institute announced that the preparations have been completed and it has been several hours since it started to create and research skills. Why hasn't a new skill been announced yet? I'm wondering too. I check the official website of Yi Yao Group every 5 minutes. Maybe the skills have been researched and created, but it still needs time to test. You have to understand that Yi Yao Group is a pharmaceutical group. The most important thing for a pharmaceutical group is rigor. For any new drug to come out, it takes years or even decades from research and development to clinical trials to its official launch. Although the new practice will not take too long, after it is created, it must be tested by a group of people, and then announced after obtaining detailed data. In that case, doesn't it take a long time? If it's fast, it will take a few hours, and if it's slow, it may take 1 or 2 days. After all, there are countless various practice research institutes, and the Yi Yao Practice Research Institute is the first to be announced and the first to be announced to be completed. They must want to be the first research institute to release a new technique, so they won't spend too much time on testing data. That's good. Guessing that Yi Chen might be researching some new technique, the audience in the live broadcast room chatted about this and that in boredom. Time flies. A few hours later, Yi Chen finished his perception of the wind. He began to observe the birds and beasts in the forest, watch them fly, watch them run. Even, he used thorn fruits to stimulate them to fly and run. When night fell and the vision became less clear, he changed to perceive the characteristics of the wind again. This cycle repeats itself. The next afternoon, Yi Chen stopped his perception and went back to the Yenshan tribe first. The progress was not bad. After a day and a half, most of the tribesmen memorized the technique formulas and exercise routes of Chaos Ju by rote. Only some old people and children memorized a small part. Yi Chen didn't wait any longer. He called together all the tribesmen who had memorized the Chaos Secret and began to explain the secrets of the Chaos Secret, precautions, how to practice it, and what problems there were during the practice. It was about his most important interests. Yi Chen invested a lot of energy and patience this time, and he was very detailed and answered all the questions. He talked from the afternoon until late at night, until some people with higher comprehension completely comprehended and understood the Chaos Secret. They could change their roles and teach those tribesmen who still didn't understand. Yi Chen then returned to the forest and continued to comprehend the characteristics of the wind. This lecture is of great significance. That's right, Yi Chen's lecture this time is equivalent to opening the path of cultivation for the human race on the exiled planet. Even if Yi Chen no longer teaches other exercises, the Chaos Sutra will probably be passed down. Thousands of years later, it may even spread throughout the exiled planet. It makes me a little envious of the people of the Yichen tribe. After all, although we started practicing the Chaos Sutra 2 months ago, the later ones also started practicing the Chaos Sutra after learning that their lifespans could be doubled. But in the true sense, we are all stealing the skills. Only the people of the Yichen tribe are the orthodox inheritance. No matter whether it is orthodox or stealing, it's okay as long as I can learn. What bothers me most now is that it's been more than a day. Why haven't the Yao Gong FA Research Institute and other newly established Gong FA research institutes announced any new exercises? Yes. It's been more than a day, and I don't know how far it has progressed. The audience in the live broadcast room was also fascinated by Yi Chen's lecture this time and benefited a lot, but they were not as excited as the people of Yichen tribe, because the new technique they were looking forward to, which was far more effective than the Chaos Sutra, had not yet been announced by any research institute. Chapter 20 Only Yichen can surpass himself. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Milky Way, Planet A1314, headquarters of Yao Gongfa Research Institute. In the laboratory, the staff are busy, various top-notch large equipment are everywhere. In the office, Lian Zhanchen, the chairman of Yao Group, stared at the large virtual screen above. It was the scene in the laboratory. Diamond suit, this main laboratory alone covers an area of more than 100,000 square meters, in the prosperous A1314 planet, where every inch of land is worth a lot of money. It is priceless, not to mention the various large-scale intelligent brains, large-scale scanners, large-scale observation instruments. All kinds of instruments and equipment in the laboratory are the most advanced technology of the human race. Any one of them is worth billions. In addition, there are thousands of staff members in the laboratory. The average annual salary is as high as 1 million. An assistant who is responsible for running errands is a top student from the top prestigious universities in the Milky Way. Every corner of this laboratory is piled with money. Beep beep beep. Warning, warning, abnormality detected in the body of tester number 7. Emergency rescue is about to be initiated. Please prepare for the relevant personnel. Warning, warning, abnormality detected in the body of tester number 7. Emergency rescue is about to be initiated. Please prepare for the relevant personnel. Suddenly, the alarm bells in the laboratory rang loudly. The synthetic sound of the intelligent brain kept ringing. On the experimental table, in front of a giant sensor, a young man was sitting cross-legged on the smooth instrument table. Dozens of data cables were connected to the giant sensor behind him. Just now, his face showed a look of pain. The intelligent brain monitored that his spiritual power had changed after entering an acupuncture point in the abdomen. The originally gentle spiritual power became violent and chaotic, and it madly impacted the meridians. Although there was a giant sensor to improve the young man's reaction ability, the young man himself was also a top-level cultivation genius. He discovered the abnormality at the first time, but he still didn't have time to withdraw his spiritual power. The medical table below, under the control of the intelligent brain, sprayed out cold air. At the same time, a large number of tentacles extended and wrapped around the number 7 tester, freezing the number 7 tester while giving first aid. In the distance, a large number of medical personnel were also rushing over. Interrupt the rescue, and continue the test. In the office, Lian Zhanchen suddenly grabbed the communicator and yelled, "Boss, according to the monitoring data, the meridians and acupoints of the number 7 tester have been irreversibly injured. If first aid is not given, or even the rescue is interrupted, his meridians may be completely destroyed." The head of the laboratory could not help but speak. Interrupt the rescue, and continue the test. In addition to the compensation for the tester's losses according to the contract, I will compensate him an additional 100 million in my personal name. I want to see if he can achieve a miracle in adversity. If you don't give an order again, I will replace the head of the institute. Lian Zhanchen gave the head a multiple-choice question. The head of the institute hesitated for a few seconds and gave the order interrupt the rescue, and continue the test. The intelligent brain responded immediately. The freezing fog began to dissipate, and the tentacles retracted. The rescuers also followed suit and evacuated. The pain on the face of tester number 7 gradually intensified. The chaotic and violent spiritual power, after losing its suppression, began to rage and destroy in his meridians, a scream, after the meridians were destroyed. Tester number 7 fainted in pain. No miracle. The head of the institute and all the staff were disappointed, in the office. Arrange the 8th tester as soon as possible. Lien Zhanqing picked up the communicator, calmly gave the order, and turned off the virtual screen. He rubbed his temples, he wanted to close his eyes and wait for the 8th test to begin. Unfortunately, he was restless and couldn't calm down. 7 consecutive experiments, 7 highly paid geniuses, plus the most advanced equipment and scientific researchers in the world. The result disappointed him terribly, more than 300 genius-level testers. Even with the assistance of instruments to enhance their perception, could not perceive the mysteries and characteristics of spiritual energy that were more profound than chaos Ju. In addition, 7 consecutive tests, the 7 testers, with the help of instruments and improved reaction ability, still could not smoothly input spiritual power into the acupuncture points. They immediately withdrew their spiritual power when they found something wrong. Lien Zhanqing couldn't understand why it was so easy for Yi Chen to create a technique, but other geniuses, even with the help of various top instruments and scientific researchers, failed repeatedly and made no progress at all. If Yi Chen were here, he would definitely sneer at Lien Zhanqing's confusion. Among these geniuses, there are indeed many top geniuses whose cultivation talents are not much slower than his, but the speed of cultivation is one thing, and creating a technique is another. He was able to create a set of techniques out of nothing because his talent in this area is the highest in the world: keen intuition, super perception, strong understanding, and incredible reaction speed. These 4 talents must all reach the top level at the same time to create a technique. If the 4 talents cannot reach the top at the same time, it can only be a high level to create a low-level technique. For example, a practitioner at the 9th level of the spirit release stage creates the lowest level, entry-level technique. Even so, it cannot be created in a day or two, it may take 10, 20 years, or even longer. Moreover, there must be a flash of inspiration, like Yi Chen. It is simply wishful thinking to be able to improve the technique suitable for the spirit release stage at the 1st level of the spirit release stage. It is impossible to improve a technique better than the improved version of Chaos Ju, because Yi Chen can't do it now, and his talent is already the limit of the human ceiling. The only possibility is that Yi Chen's sphere of influence suddenly increases to millions or tens of millions of square kilometers. Only by obtaining a talent that is several times or dozens of times higher than the strongest talent of humans can it be possible to create a better improved version of Chaos Ju at the 1st level of the spirit release stage. The only one who can defeat Yi Chen is Yi Chen himself, who has obtained the strongest talent system and can improve his talent. Although the various top technologies of mankind at this stage have a lot of improvement effects on those geniuses, they are far from being able to make their comprehensive talents in creating exercises reach the level of Yi Chen. In the future, as the sphere of influence increases and the talent bonus increases, this gap will only widen, because as the strength realm increases, the difficulty of creating exercises will only increase. In the history of mankind for tens of thousands of years, there are many amazing geniuses who have created ways to improve personal strength, but no one can go further, and they often stop at the beginning, because the further you go, the greater the difficulty. Yi Chen is the only exception. Now, he is actually about to reach the limit of being able to create exercises, at least, with his current talent, after breaking through to a higher realm than the Lingfang period. Improving the Chaos Sutra to a level suitable for cultivation in that realm is definitely not like the 1st level of the Lingfang period, which takes 3 or 4 days to complete. To create an exercise of the same realm, the difficulty is tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands times higher than creating a lower level exercise. The higher the strength level, the more difficult it is. Even if Yi Chen wants to continue to go further, he needs to rely on the strongest talent system to continuously improve his talent. For other geniuses, it's useless to think about it.